On the last episode of Plain Delicious, we left Knoxville, Tennessee.
Tower, the wind 010 at 6, runway 23 left at Alpha 8, clear for takeoff.
We filed IFR due to some less than stellar weather along our route to New Orleans. It was supposed to break up as we got closer, but by the time we stopped for gas in Quitman, Mississippi, it looked like it had gotten worse. We took back off and made it within 20 miles of New Orleans, but had to do an instrument approach into Slidell, Louisiana. We waited out the weather there and got something light to eat, eager to finally make it to Lakefront Airport in New Orleans. Now you're all caught up and ready for episode 2 of Plain Delicious, New Orleans. What kind of culinary delights did we have in Slidell? You didn't miss much. Nice people though. Big shout out and thank you to Norvin at Slidell's airport. He loaned me that awesome rain jacket that kept me dry while I tied the plane down.
Slidell Airport, Slidell, Louisiana.
Now it's time for the main event. Just a quick skip across Lake Pontchartrain. Let's get to it.
Slidell traffic, Archer 1870, Papa taxiing to run up for 36, Slidell.
We're still filed IFR, because while the storms have passed, there's still quite a bit of cloud cover.
Slidell traffic, Archer 1870, Papa, taking runway 36, departure to the south. Alright, here we go.
To New Orleans. New Orleans.
New Orleans. At airspeed, that's a good start. 40. 50. And we fly.
Hooray.
Okay, so after a minor interruption, we are back in the air for our grand total IFR flight of 20 miles, which based on once we do the approach, it's probably going to be a 40-mile flight just because we got to get into the air and
setting up for the approach is as long as our flight.
Exactly.
But we're going to fly over Lake Pontchartrain.
We may or may not see it.
We're likely going to have another instrument approach in the New Orleans Lakefront.
New Orleans approach, Archer 1870, Papa just off Slidell, 1,600 climbing 2,000.
Archer 1870, Papa, New Orleans departure, ident, New Orleans altimeter 29er, 89er.
29er, 89er, ident, 70 Papa.
New 70 Papa, radar contact 1 mile southwest of Slidell Regional Airport, climb maintain 3,000. These will be vectors to the RNAV, runway 36 left to Lakefront.
70 Papa, 3,000, and we'll expect a 36 left for Lakefront.
Oh, look at the lake. Kind of like the ocean. So huge.
The crystal ball comes true again. Our 20-mile flight just doubled in length to set up for the instrument approach.
Longest 20-mile flight ever.
Gloom and doom.
But it'll be fun when we get on the ground.
Yeah, it's already fun.
Yeah. The weather's looking so much better than it did.
Yeah, I know.
2 hours ago, 3 hours ago.
But we did the right thing. We stopped and
without question.
Waited it out and no biggie. Had some mediocre food.
It was alright. If you look out your left wing, you'll see the sky. Those of you sitting on the right side, you'll also notice the sky.
The cloud cover isn't all that thick, but it provides enough of an obstruction that we can't see the runway until its dramatic reveal.
Okay, I'm going to arm the approach.
Cherokee 1870, Papa, contact Lakefront Tower 119.9.
Tower 19970, Papa, thanks, good night. Tower, good afternoon, Archer 1870, Papa, 2000 on the RNAV for 36 left.
Archer 1870, Papa, Lakefront Tower, runway 36 left, clear to land, wind 360 at 7, previous pilot reported base is 1,100 feet by a Premier jet about 30 minutes ago.
Clear to land, engine fuel pumps on, landing lights on, pitot heat still on the localizer, glide path is in, descending. Oh, hi runway. Awesome.
It's such a pleasant surprise to pop out of the clouds, looking straight down the runway.
Beautiful.
Happy with that.
Cherokee 7 Sierra Papa, right turn Juliet, safe parking.
Right turn Juliet and flight line first, park for 7 Sierra Papa.
After a long wait, we finally made it to our destination for the night.
Hey, we made it.
Welcome to New Orleans. That was a fun approach. That's a beautiful terminal.
The delay means that Messina's Runway Cafe will have to wait for another visit. But the top-notch crew at Flightline First gets us parked, and our long weekend in one of America's most interesting, fun, and picturesque cities begins.
Good news, bad news. The rain was terrible. Delayed us for quite a while. Good news. View doesn't suck. New Orleans.
First stop is Hotel Provincial in the French Quarter, where we're staying. Like many of the hotels in the French Quarter, it was a Civil War hospital and is allegedly haunted. It's a pretty great hotel with a bar inside where the first of many hurricanes hit us on this trip. Next, to the streets in search of food, drink, art, architecture, and any live music we can find. Whether it's your first or 50th time to New Orleans, no trip is complete without a stop at Café du Monde for beignets. 2 things you need to know. The line is very long to sit at sticky tables, and the second is that around the backside of the building is a to-go window where you can get the full menu and walk across the street to Jackson Park to eat it. It's a good thing that New Orleans is so beautiful and walkable. All we're doing is eating, and the next stop is another staple with origins here. Welcome to Central Grocery, home of the Muffaletta. What can you tell me about a muffaletta?
Well, before we came to New Orleans 2 years ago, I could not have told you anything about a muffaletta because I'd never had one. I'd heard the word, but I didn't really know what it was. It is a massive sandwich. I have 2 sandwiches. This is one of my top 2 sandwiches I've ever had in my whole life.
If you've never had a muffaletta before, and you think that you're gonna maybe just put one down on your own, huge mistake. You're wasting a lot of sandwich. The bread is about the size of a pie pan. The reality is it's a deli meat sandwich with an olive tapenade on it and some cheese. It's delicious. It's incredible. We've ordered a half. We're gonna split the half. So really, with chips and a drink, you can probably like be in perfect shape with just eating a quarter of it. So on that note, let's dig in. Yes. If you know, you know. All right, let's go. So good.
We got some voodoo chips.
Ooh, spooky.
Oh, and we're also staying in one of the most haunted hotels in New Orleans.
So, this is our hotel room. COVID's still happening. Their dining area is closed. We are overlooking Ursuline Street, just watching people go by. It's just as good. Pretty awesome. Much like a Chicago dog might not be everything that you want on a hot dog, if you just sort of like had that experience, when you combine all the flavors, the combination of the flavors really sort of is the magic, and it's delicious.
Just go with it.
Yeah, just, you can't substitute. It's already like, it's made and ready to go. You can't substitute, so just choke down the first bite, and I promise you'll have a second. That's more than my second. Checking them off the list. Next up, we tried something a little different and stopped at Ride This Bike, and we did exactly that. Larry, who owns the shop, fit us with the right bikes for each of us and suggested a ride to City Park. While not the most exotic of names for a park, it definitely makes up for it with views. City Park is lined with tall trees with Spanish moss and trails that meander through New Orleans' version of Central Park, although City Park is bigger. It also has this little train for families to take it all in while sitting on their caboose. Ugh, I'll see myself out. You know what else City Park has? A second location of Cafe Du Monde. Eaters gonna eat. What choice did I have? Beignet time again. And then it's back onto the bikes as we return to the French Quarter, pedaling up a serious thirst. We stopped for Hurricane number 2 at the famous Pat O'Brien's. Rumor has it that theirs is the best in the French Quarter. Riding after hurricanes is not a wise decision, but we made it back to turn in our bikes and got ready for dinner. On our way to dinner, we encountered one of New Orleans' truly unique features, the second line. Hannibal Burris explains the second line best, and I'll link it below, but for $350, you can destroy traffic for a half an hour with 15 people, and the police will help you plan it. Okay, now on to Felix's Oyster House. It's right across the street from Acme Oyster House, but Felix's line is half as long and the food is just as good. Until recently, I'd never had oysters of any kind. The idea of slurping raw ooze just wasn't appealing to me, but I had them char-grilled once prior to this, and they were delicious. I could definitely go for this on a semi-regular basis. After dinner, we went on a ghost tour, which I highly recommend, but they don't like cameras on those, so the next morning we packed up and headed home. Another amazing weekend. We've got some great stuff coming up, so don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode of Plain Delicious.